So now we will begin with our topic that is entirely a new one called as governance. Paper GS2. But not only GS2, it consolidates with your other subjects also. For example, ethics. In ethics, when you will read the syllabus, there are few topics called as accountability, transparency, participation. So they are almost one and same thing. Okay. So in governance, what we study here is the state, the citizen, okay.
Right.
The state, the citizen, and the market. The relationship between three of them. Now, governance, I have to tell you very simply, it means there are policies of government. The government frames the policies. These policies are implemented. Now, how they are implemented and how successful they are the measures of governance. If they are successfully implemented and bringing out positive outcomes, they will count as good governance. Governance in itself is a nice word, but when we add good to governance, it means the very policies that the government has brought in, they are being implemented very correctly, or you can say very convenient. So now when we talk about implementation of policies, who is responsible for implementation of policies? Huh?
Executive.
Which executive?
Permanent.
What is permanent executive called as?
Civil service.
Yes. Clear? Executive is of two types. One is permanent, that is the civil service. Then is the temporary, they are the political executive. Clear? Also, when we talk about implementation, if any of I have studied public policy, this is my major also. So now in public policy, we study that the implementation of policy is not an end in itself. What matters in implementation of policy is how judiciously you have used the resources. Can any one of you tell me what are the 3 M's that are counted in resources? It is men, money, and material. Isn't it so? How judiciously you have used these 3 elements in implementation of the policies will determine your governance of that very particular nation. Now, if any of you are aware of that, the governance in India and let's say governance of a Scandinavian country. नहीं मैं बैठ मैं भी खाना खाया बस पानी ले अभी पानी सिर्फ नॉर्मल मिक्स I was saying he carries Scandinavian country, let's say Norway. Is their governance and India's governance similar? No, there is difference now. There is difference in implementation. We have very good policies. You know, when a policy is prepared, it is a brainchild of so many stakeholders in that. When we talk about, let's say, take example of any recent policy that you have heard of.
मैं हरियाणा में पेपर में PM कुसुम
PM Kusum. PM Kusum. Agriculture or
diesel related sector है diesel
okay. PM Kusum is providing
new education policy
न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी का न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी बेस्ट है, उधर डिबेट भी हो सकता है. PM Kusum.
second question is here.
New education policy. Now, new education policy is not prepared overnight. Any policy that is prepared, first, what happens is the government will say you are in the bureaucracy. You will be the person who will also be framing the policies. You are not only implementing it, you are also framing it, because the political executive will give you just a skeleton form. उसमें डिटेल्स तुम लोगों ने फिल करनी है कि न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी की प्रोविजंस क्या होंगी, हायर एजुकेशन के लिए क्या करेंगे और सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन के लिए, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन के लिए क्या करेंगे, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन के लिए क्या करेंगे. वो सिर्फ इतना बना के दे देंगे कि हमें एक बहुत फैंसी सी पॉलिसी लेके आनी है, उसमें आप प्राइमरी के लिए क्या करोगे, सेकेंडरी के लिए, हायर के लिए, वोकेशनल के लिए क्या करोगे. वो सारा किसका ब्रेन चाइल्ड होता है, ब्यूरोक्रेसी का. Now here this does not mean कि जो lower level के officials बैठे हैं लोग, here it is the work of secretaries, also sometimes cabinet secretaries, sometimes principal chief secretaries. What is happening? The government is giving a policy framework to the bureaucracy. They are filling in the details. Not only the bureaucracy, but experts also. So now in education, who will be the experts? It will be very prominent teachers who are very renowned. Romila Thapar was one of them. She is a historian. Subramaniam Swamy has also his contribution in new education policy. Other than that, the civil society. Now, can you think of any civil society organization that, do you think it is possible that in country like India, civil society's opinion matters? Civil society means the NGOs, the voluntary organizations that are there. Do you think the opinion of civil society in policy making matters to India? No. Where it matters? Had the opinion of civil society mattered in the framing of policies in India, the very form bills would not have been made into the bill form. Why the participation of civil society is important? Because it is ultimately made for them only. When citizens will be involved, for example, I am framing a policy for you, but I am not taking your opinion into consideration. I am simply taking into consideration the opinion of Maan sir and asset. But the policy is for you ultimately. That how the classes will go on, what subjects will I teach you, how will I teach you, when will the contest be conducted. This is where we are lacking in India. And not only this purpose that I am talking about the policy making. There are few other things also that are very important when we study public policy. You know the word public means? What the public word means here? You know what a policy means? This we will do in detail in next lecture, not today because even I am right now I am not able to recall. But I will tell you in detail. This is very important. You might be asked a question in interview. Because a friend of mine was asked a question. Do you know that one of the job of a bureaucrat is to frame public policy? What is a public policy? And he was blank there. Okay, it is a technical term. Okay, so I was telling you about the making policy making process. ठीक है? This is happening. Yes.
Somebody is waiting.
Okay. So I was telling you how a policy is made at all. ठीक है? Bureaucracy, experts, and sometimes civil society. So now what we are doing is India is just asking them कि तुम बता दो भाई क्या करना है. On paper लिख के रख लेंगे, पर उसके किसी भी ओपिनियन को एक्शन में नहीं लेके आएंगे. ठीक है? This is our flaw in public policy. Now, when I am talking about governance here, the governance is a mixture of various things. Abhi we are just discussing the introduction to make things clear to you, because this is ultimately that you will be doing once you get selected. Okay? क्यों है? See, if I have to tell you the history of governance, it is not so that we talk about the governance in present times only. All of you must be at least aware of one person history, that is Ashoka. उसके टाइम पे भी गवर्नेंस होती थी. मूवी देखी है सबने? शाहरुख खान वाली, करीना कपूर वाली, क्या नाम था उसका? Anyways, so which means this is a country. How you will rule it, how you will administer it. There is a difference between both of these words. I mind you, do not take it into be synonyms of each other. Rule has an element of authority. Administer is a mild form of authority, which does not mean that you are a complete dictator of the country. Okay? I am simply telling you how will you rule the nation, how will you administer the nation, how will you enforce your decisions on the citizens. That matters. Everything that is conducted under this sphere is called as governance. This is a very simple definition, only for understanding. This has not been approved by any one of them. Okay, this is just कि आप समझते क्या हो governance board से, ठीक है? So now there is an organization. If anyone can expand.
United Nations
problem. United Nations the organizations. Okay, United Nations is very important topic in IR also and in economic section also. Okay, United Nations the organization है, United Nations Development Group. Okay. So now UNDP for the very first time gave or tried to give the definition of governance. Please write. According to UNDP, the exercise of economical, political, and administrative authority to manage a country's affairs at all levels is called as governance. I made you write all levels. What levels? कौन से levels हो सकते हैं? World, why world level? State, then come down also. District, then here at all levels. क्या word लिखा है मैंने? Economical, political, administrative, and what word? Authority. Authority is a very positive word when used. Authority is different from power. Power corrupts you. Authority comes with responsibility. Authority has an inherent element of responsibility. You will be given an authority to become a civil servant. You will have the authority to act in the capacity of a civil servant. You will not have the power to act in a capacity of a civil servant. Power is not for you guys. Power is exercised by the middle class. That has no element of accountability, no element of responsibility. The difference is clear? Yes. You always have to use your words appropriately. Let's say you are asked in an interview में question पूछ लिया कि you are a civil servant. देखो ये जो गवर्नेंस है ना, ये सारी केस स्टडीज बेसिस पे होगी, क्योंकि इसमें आपको थ्योरी से कुछ नहीं है. थ्योरी अगर आप खुद भी कर लोगे ना तो 2-3 घंटे में हो जाती है. इसका आपको प्रैक्टिकल लिंक जो है ना वो 2 सब्जेक्ट से रखना है, एथिक्स से रखना है और किसे रखना है, अपनी इंटरव्यू से. इसमें आपको अपने आप को सिविल सर्वेंट बना हुआ व्यू करना है. ये चीजें आपको बाद में आपके ट्रेनिंग टाइम पे भी पढ़ाएंगे. पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, दिस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. आई एम क्लियर टू यू? आई वाज टेलिंग यू कि एक आप सिविल सर्वेंट हो, आपसे इंटरव्यू में ये क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया, यू हैव द पावर टू, you are the SDM. There are farmers agitating on the national highway. You have the power to remove them. Will you do it? No. Because the word, what wording has been used? Power. Has not recently this person used power instead of authority? The Karnal one? You have the authority. You will say, sir, if I am an SDM, I will go and check on what my authority is. Because number one, it comes with responsibility, but it also has the backing of law. This will have the backing of your personal egos. कि मैं तो इस इलाके का SDM हूँ, मैं जो कुछ भी बोलूँगा वो करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? The very word authority is clear to you? आप अपने इंटरव्यू में अपने वर्ड्स का यूज करोगे बहुत केयरफुली कि सर, I will simply go back and check on my law book that what my authority is. If my authority permits that I have to remove them forcefully, then I will do it. You will not have to get emotional there. हाय वहां पर तो फार्मर्स बैठे हैं, उनमें तो मेरे चाचा मामा बैठे हुए हैं. If you have the authority and the law says yes, you can do it, then you have to do it. But definitely there is no law as such as harsh, because this is a democracy and you have the right to protest peacefully. Clear? So I will do the definition. Write down. The word governance does not only mean framing and implementation of policies, but it is a process. Through which decisions are made and authority is exercised. मैंने क्या वर्ड नहीं यूज किया यहाँ पर? डिफरेंस तो चल गया इसमें। ये बहुत पहला कॉन्सेप्ट है जो क्लियर होना चाहिए इस सब्जेक्ट। एक बार दोबारा पढ़ लो डेफिनेशन, अगर नहीं समझ में आई तो एक्सप्लेन कर दो। ऑनलाइन डेफिनेशन क्लियर है जो अभी तक लिखवाया? तुषार, ऋतिका, मनप्रीत, हरसिमरत?
हाँ जी मैम।
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है। नाउ राइट, who are the stakeholders? In governance? देखो इस सब्जेक्ट की जो भी थ्योरी होगी ना उसका मैं आपको हैंड आउट दे दिया करूंगी, पर जिसमें हमें लिखना है, अपना डिस्कस करनी है, प्रैक्टिकल चीजें, वो हम क्लास में करेंगे। इट इज अ फेयरली सिंपल सब्जेक्ट। Who are all the stakeholders in governance? Number one is the state. If the state is not there, then who will you govern? Isn't it so? अगर स्टेट ही नहीं है आपकी तो आप गवर्न किसको करोगे? गवर्न करना किसको है? वैसे यहाँ पर सिविल सोसाइटी है, मैंने अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए सिटीजंस लिख दिया, ठीक है। एंड द थर्ड वन इज स्टेट रन कैसे होती है? मार्केट ही नहीं होगी तो इकोनॉमी कैसे चलेगी? व्हाट इज द मेन फंक्शन ऑफ द स्टेट? लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, पॉलिसीज, गवर्नमेंट, पॉलिटिकल स्टेबिलिटी, और कुछ बोलो फंक्शन। हाँ, वेलफेयर, एग्जैक्टली। Anything else you can think of?
Defense of security.
Security, defense and security are almost synonymous to each other. ये डायग्राम में बनाते रहना है, क्योंकि ये इन सब्जेक्ट्स में डायग्राम अगर आप बनाओगे ना तो वो खुदा अंकल बहुत खुश होगा, क्योंकि उसका काम आपने क्या कर दिया है। हमें यार पेपर में क्या यूज करना है? अपना दिमाग। कि हमने किसकी जॉब आसान कर दी है? एग्जामिनर। क्योंकि वो तो बैठा होगा ना सुबह से लेकर शाम तक पेपर चेक कर रहा होगा। जितने आप डायग्राम डालोगे, पेज भरेंगे, टाइम बचेगा और अंकल क्या होंगे? हैप्पी। What will market do? Market will give people jobs. Market will run the economy. Market will also create favorable conditions for competition. Clear? Is it clear to you, Rishu? And what the civil society will do? Participate and encourage the participation of citizens. Okay? And encourage also. These are all the stakeholders in governance process. Now next, governance is clear to everyone. Now what happened after over a period of time? What we saw was that a democratic country is also being governed, and a country like China is also being governed. What is the difference between two of them? What is the difference between India and China's governance? Or let's say, what is the difference between India's and Norway's governance? Because every state, every country in the world is not democratic. I hope every one of you is aware of this fact, right? So now what will differentiate between such nations and their governance is the very word good governance. And that is also the ultimate. Drawing and what is the ultimate aim of any nation, or let's say you as a bureaucrat? Good governance. Now, good governance is not any fancy word, or it is not even new to us, but it was only the exigencies of the time which demanded that a certain level of procedure, or let's say a terminology, should be introduced which differentiates such nations. Now, good governance, I give a synonym of its attributes. Fact-free. Fact means participatory. Accountability. Transparency. Consensus. Responsive. Not responsible. Responsive लिखना बहुत पहले वाले बच्चे ना responsible. Effective and efficient. Equitable and exclusive. बस इतनी है गुड गवर्नेंस, यही पढ़ेंगे हम सारे लेक्चर्स में with case studies. So also take it as a combined, somewhere let's say ethics and governance together, okay? क्योंकि एग्जांपल्स के बिना ये समझ में कम ही आता है. सबने लिख लिया ये? So now when we will talk about participatory governance, Can anyone of you tell me whose participation we are talking about?
Civil society.
Civil society. And ultimately citizens. We did the Indian Councils Act. I also told you कि why was enacted, कि तब क्या आ गया था, तब इंडियंस ने क्या बोलना शुरू कर दिया कि हमें भी पार्टिसिपेट करने दो लॉ मेकिंग प्रोसेस में, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली लॉज किसके लिए बन रहे थे, इंडियंस के लिए. So the participation of citizens is very important, and effectively citizens participate. Unfortunately, the scenario of India is such that number one, citizenry is not informed, not organized. We are still, differentiated by the, let's say, our castes, our sects, our religion, our orthodox views. That it is not possible in as diverse nation as India to have one opinion. The very example of this is Uniform Civil Code. It is practically impossible for a diverse nation where almost all the religions of the world are people live here. How can you come to one consensus? हमारी क्लास में ही पॉसिबल नहीं होगा कि हम 10 बंदे मिलके एक डिसीजन पे आ जाएं. Isn't it so?
Yes, ma'am.
So now, even if यहाँ पर गलती सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट की नहीं है, ये भी आपको ध्यान में रखना है. ये चीजें आप तब एक्सपीरियंस करोगे जब आप you will be a civil servant, that you will allow the participation of people because you are an informed person. You know very well the rules and regulations what are. But when you will deal with a common citizen who is still orthodox in nature, how will you accommodate his views into governance? The day my result came out, an uncle from my neighbor came to my house. He said, my daughter also want to do UPSC now. I said, uncle, it's a very nice thing. But uncle said, इसको मैंने घर पे ही रखना है. Not because they were financially not well, but why? Because of a notion that if a girl will step out of her house, the father will lose the control of that girl and she might start taking decisions on her own. Will you ever accommodate the views of this person into governance? You will be reluctant. What is the problem here? Problem here lies in the citizenry also. Because our citizenry is not informed and participative also. ये तो आपने अपने कॉलेजेस में और स्कूल्स में बहुत देखा होगा. कोई एक बंदा इनिशिएटिव ले रहा होगा तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं, ये तो मिलिटर है. Now, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was a very, very well thought of initiative. The amount of brains that were put into this initiative now will completely do read its case study when you go back home. ISS is available on IGNOU. I don't know where, but simply type the case study on Swachh Bharat mission in its initial form or in its dormant form when it was not even enacted. Okay, but what happened? Now, can you see that to even clean your own houses or your own toilets, you have to bring in a policy. This is the level of information or participation of people in India. What will you do? And to further promote it, you have to bring in our Akshay Kumar sir
Yes.
to promote the culture of hygiene among women. He has done 2 movies, Toilet and Badman. How many of you make your own beds when you wake up? Certainly not all of us. The very sad reality. How many of you will be most likely to throw a paper if you do not see a dustbin there, and if you see that already papers are lying there? Almost all of us. Isn't it so? So what is the sad reality? Although participation is absent in India from the civil society and the citizens, but our citizenry is ill-informed and non-participative. I am just telling you the reality or discussing you the few things, but you will not write in this only, okay? इसमें हमें सब अच्छा अच्छा लिखना है. पेपर में सब क्या लिखना है? अच्छा लिखना है. कुछ भी गलत नहीं हो रहा हमारी कंट्री में. क्योंकि वहां पर कौन बैठे हैं? बूढ़े अंकल. लिखो पार्टिसिपेशन में लिखो. For good governance, participation from all sections of society. Participation from all sections of society is required. The participation has to be informed. The participation has to be informed and organized. Next is accountability. Now again, we Indians are hypocrite to the next level. Okay, so the literal definition of accountability means you are responsible for your actions. Okay, you are responsible for your actions. Rishabh, accountability means you are responsible for your actions. If you are sitting in the class, what are you responsible for? That you are listening to me and you are writing in your notebook, right? This is just a simple definition of accountability. Now, accountability is not only being responsible for your actions, but also you are answerable. Simply taking the responsibility will not end your job. You are answerable. To whom? To? Very good. Next. Citizens ko do. When you will be a bureaucrat, you will not worry about citizens. Yes. Who is in the higher authority? Who is your immediate boss? When you will be an IAS officer, who will be your immediate boss? He will be a secretary. Then we have hierarchy, we have principal secretaries, and we have cabinet secretaries. Okay, so I was talking about accountability. When you will sleep tonight, ask yourself a question: are you accountable for your actions? Because what happens most of the times, I have seen, even I am also such a person that I am also a hypocrite next level. I am no different from all of us. So accountability is not only responsibility, but it is answerability. And you are not answerable to X, Y, Z, but you are answerable to yourself first, and then to anyone else. When you will be answerable to yourself, you will see there is if I have to teach you philosophy, there is no thing what is right or wrong. They are just created for middle class. There are always two things when you will be answerable. Is the decision that you are taking at the end of the day will do good to one person or will do good to 100%? If you have chosen this, you are a accountable person. Second thing, whatever decision at the end of the day you have taken will create a positive impact or a negative impact. These two things exist. This does not exist. If you associate right with positive, you are utterly wrong, because some negative things are also right in their own context. Everything has a context. And these things can be counted also. Always rely on the things which can be counted. जो ये होते हैं ना, इस चीजों में नहीं पढ़ते जिंदगी में. मैथ्स तो सबने किया है. हाँ जी.
In quality we study for the people, by the people,
And of the people.
and for the people is for the accountability, like we are answerable to the people. Here we are answerable for the people. Here the definition changes, as you said. We are answerable to us. So in governance,
No, you are confusing. That is not the definition of governance. That is government. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people, not governance. What is democracy? Democracy is different thing. Democracy means rule of people. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, because ultimately तुम में से कोई politicians बने, तुम में से कोई politicians वो बनेंगे. And for whom? For you people only. And what is government? We wrote down the functions when we were talking about state policies बनानी है, implement करना है, welfare करना है, election लड़नी है, लड़ाइयाँ लड़वानी है.
but in governance we study more of the civil service.
Yes. This is your job. This is public administration and not political science. Clear? Public administration is an entirely different branch. Here you will not study anything about politicians. Here you will study about two things: bureaucracy and civil servants. You are ultimately becoming this, not even this. Bureaucracy is a different, entirely different lobby. I was telling you this thing. ये सारी चीजें जो मैं बता रही हूँ ना, ये हमने क्या करनी है, समझनी है, बिल्कुल नहीं बतानी. ठीक है, ये सिर्फ आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए, ताकि आपके भी कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो. There is a thing called as aristocracy. They live the best life. I like these people more. No, certainly not politicians. There are some higher minds which control the classes: the middle class, lower middle class, upper middle class, the Ambanis. उनके लाइफ में लॉजिक और फंडे बहुत क्लियर है.
मतलब कैसे पावर मतलब वेतन
Exactly.
aristocrats
Obviously, do you think Narendra Modi is running the nation?
no aristocracy मतलब पावर शो करती है.
Aristocracy has created classes, castes, and Karl Marx की लाइन है, मुझे कहीं आ गई. Caste, class, and I'll tell you tomorrow. बहुत ज़्यादा दिमाग पे बोझ पड़ा ना आपको अंदर. This runs the world. There is a book by Noam Chomsky. Who runs the world? This is one of the best book with clear understanding about how the politicians control the world. Sorry, how the aristocrats control the world.
Karl Marx का classless society में चल रहा है.
Classless.
Classless मतलब कोई class.
There were two classes existing at those times, bourgeoisie and proletariat. He wanted that the common man should have the resources with them and not the state. That would happen only if we do not have any classes at all. Write down this person and this book. When you will clear the exam, or meanwhile you want to read, you can read it. क्यों हो गया तेरा डायग्राम नहीं पूरा हो रहा? हो गया कौन पूरा? Every country is run by this.
But in case of China.
In case of China, yes.
Then
Do you think this GG, whatever it is not a business-minded person? His ancestors dash cow or Mao. They created China only for this purpose, that they will control each and everyone's life. They are the ultimate aristocrats. There people do not even have the freedom like you will have. You are sitting here on your own. There, the people of your age must be working in factories or helping in the production system. Aristocracy class के फंडे अलग होते हैं बहुत. उनके लिए communism? No. This is not the standard aristocracy I am talking about. जो definition में आती है, no. Aristocrat class अलग है. Aristocrat class को अगर हम simply define करेंगे, तो उसका एक ही motive होता है, to control.
profit making or political.
Profit making उनके लिए मैटर नहीं करता यार. Exactly. प्रॉफिट तो हम जैसे लोगों के लिए मैटर करता है यार, हम यहाँ से प्रॉफिट हो जाए, वहां से प्रॉफिट हो जाए. No, they want the ultimate power with them to control you. I might be having a profit, I might be earning profits from you one day, but tomorrow, God forbid, your leg is broken. Are you of any use to me? But if I have the power to control you, I will also make you work when you are better also. Accountability means the assumption of responsibility. Combined with answerability, that is answerability for actions, decisions and policies. The components of accountability are answerability, redressal, sanctions, and system improvement. We will discuss in detail in each and every topic what is redressal system. इसका एक पूरा topic है हमारे पास, ठीक है? Sanctions भी अलग है और system improvement भी अलग है. Answerability मैंने समझा दिया. ठीक है, ये components लिखिए answerability के, accountability के.
Yes, sir.
Next is consensus oriented.
जैसे इंडिया फिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी इकोनॉमिक मतलब ये यूज ऑफ अरिस्टोक्रेट सिविक मतलब मानना है कि गवर्नमेंट का भी इंपॉर्टेंट है।
हाँ,
मतलब वो मतलब पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं।
what do you understand by mixed economy?
तो पब्लिक से प्राइवेट दोनों मतलब वो काम कर रहे हैं।
It's a book, मतलब it's a text definition. मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी का मतलब ये होता है कि पब्लिक से प्राइवेट दोनों काम कर रहे हैं। देखो जो अपनी पहला 1991 तो पहला इकोनॉमी सी जी यार की कहते हैं I don't know particular terminology on the economics which I am forgetting it, but ਆਪਾਂ simply use कर लेते हैं closed economy. What is a closed economy? You are trading within India only, and that too when you trade interstate, you have a lot of duties and restrictions and levies that ultimately increase the price of the product. But after this, we had LPG reforms and we had open economy. Now in open economy, here not only the state, that is the government, जिसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, यहाँ पर जब मैं समझाऊंगा तो उसको क्या समझना है, सरकारी। The government factories, buildings, government का business, but also we encouraged private business. ये सरकारी स्कूल है, ये कौन सा है, प्राइवेट स्कूल है। Now when both of them are operating, what will happen? Competition. Market will move. Competition always helps in moving the economy. Positive competition. It's relative, let's say. So now this is what creates an open economy. Not only this thing keep state and the okay. So now you were talking about mixed economy and aristocracy, right? Now I am not saying, I am not negating any role of government in this economy. But I talk about when I talk about aristocracy is this thing only that the ultimately power lies with the influential people. Certainly they are not always businessmen. It can be Modi ji's mama also. Because she knows how to run Modi ji. Just like Ambani ji knows how to run Modi ji. Isn't it so?
Yes.
Influential people. Not always the businessman. Consensus oriented. Third point. So consensus oriented means you reach on one point. Let's say we are going to take a decision today that tomorrow we should conduct a test at 11 to 11:30 or 11:30 to 12. Some people will raise time for the first time. Some people will raise their hand for the second time. And then how we will come to consensus? By seeing the simple. But do you think this happens in India? In reality? Do you think the voice of minorities is held? Forget about minorities. How many farmers are protesting on the borders? Do you think their voice is being heard by any level of the government? Do you think all these bills and acts that have been enacted, they are made with the consensus? Opposition was from the beginning. When I told you ना कि policy making में कौन-कौन participate करता है, civil society, वो भी वहीं पर बैठे हुए थे जो आज वहाँ पर protest कर रहे हैं. उन्होंने तब भी protest किया था कि this will not work in India. Do you know even the countries like Switzerland, Brazil, स्पेन दी लेफ्ट साइड ते गड़ी है पोर्चुगल, they have practiced this but they have closed it entirely. Contract farming failed there. This is not me saying, this is the facts that are being said.
इंडिया में बिहार के तो उधर फेल सी।
हाँ जी हाँ जी, पर वो डिफरेंट सी, ਉਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕੌਣ, ਉਹਦਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਇੰਪਰੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਪਸ਼ਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੀ।
ऑल ओवर सिस्टम
हाँ when you will not reach to a one decision, do you think it is possible that you will govern the nation? No, you are simply implementing or enforcing your own thoughts and ideas which are in the interest of who will ultimately benefit from these acts? The private businesses. No doubt our country's agriculture needs a lot of reforms even in its present state. Forget about the farm laws, forget about it entirely. The level, the kind of land we have, number one, the mankind, that is the man we have, then the resources we have in our nation, the minds that we have in our nation, all of them need to be synergized and put into action. But we are simply talking about superficial acts, bills, contract farming, MSP, MRP, FRP. These are superficial things. We need to go back and reverse green revolution. The ultimate harm that has been done by is the green revolution. No doubt it increased the surplus production. It brought into various foreign natives or varieties also. But it did more harm than it did more good. We need to correct green revolution by encouraging number one, organic farming. Not the organic farming we are practicing as of now. Mind it, they are 200% fake. If they sell it on the name of organic. Organic उस जमाने की, पुराने जमाने की बात कर रही हूँ. Number two, diversification of agriculture. We have a monotony of monocropping, rice and wheat. That's it, nothing else. You know how many types of rice we used to have? How many millets? They all are being extinct now. Rather, countries like Israel, you know the level of agriculture they have, the agricultural development they have. हम तो बहुत फॉर्चुनेट है कि हमारे जो लैंड्स हैं they are fertile enough. उनके तो लैंड फर्टाइल ही नहीं है. They are Mediterranean economy. The Mediterranean Sea eats it. Geography पढ़ी है? Winds पढ़ी है? Hot and cold winds. Sirocco. दो तीन और है. हाँ. और वो मोरक्कन मेडिटेरेनियन में तो नहीं है. सिरोको नहीं, मेडिटेरेनियन से उधर भी चलती हैं और लैंड से इधर भी आती हैं. It destroys everything that happens there. आज जाके YouTube पे सर्च करना. एक तो मैंने ये बोली थी, जो केस स्टडी बोली थी स्वच्छ भारत मिशन पे, और गूगल पे सर्च करनी है और करना how Israel developed its agriculture. You will be startled by their technologies or improvements that we have. We have at least we can say enough population की तो कमी नहीं है हमारे देश में, resources की भी नहीं है. उन्होंने उतनी सी population से, उतने से resources से आज वो हमसे 10 times ज़्यादा produce करते हैं. उनकी produce 110% organic होती है. उनकी technologies जो अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, drip, sprinkle irrigation, मैन्योर, ये वो चीजें उन्होंने एटलीस्ट 50-40 साल पहले वो फुली ड्रिप एग्रीकल्चर पे होंगे, क्योंकि उनके पास दे हैव ओनली one river which is also controversial, if I'm not wrong. पानी तो है ही नहीं उनके पास, हम तो ऐसे पानी लगा के रात को सो जाते हैं, सुबह उठ के मोटर बंद करते हैं. We are ungrateful people actually. These things will help you in having a clear picture, and it will help you in essay also. That the things I say, you know, कि या फिर YouTube करना है, कुछ भी करना. Okay, so I made you write what is consensus oriented. जल्दी लिखो, फिर 4:30 तो हो गए. The governance should be in the best interest of whole community. In the best interest of whole community. It requires mediation. Mediation word is very important. जैसे अथॉरिटी समझाई थी ना, अथॉरिटी को दिमाग में डाला था, मीडिएशन वर्ड को भी दिमाग में डाल लो, क्योंकि आपने आगे जाके अपनी जॉब में मीडिएशन ही करनी है, आपको साइड्स नहीं चूज करनी. You will never be successful in your life if you choose sides. Even if you do not become a civil servant, you always have to mediate a middle way. Which requires mediation at all levels. At all levels for the best interest of society. Next लिखो transparency. मैंने हिस्ट्री में लास्ट वाली क्या कराई थी तनु, महलवाड़ी इम्पैक्ट कराया था उसका. नहीं वो महलवाड़ी का कोई सेपरेट इम्पैक्ट नहीं है. जो कुछ यार दसना सी इधर ना कनेक्ट करना सी ट्रांसपेरेंसी का. चलो मार्क चाहे तो देख लेंगे. ट्रांसपेरेंसी, व्हाट इज ट्रांसपेरेंट?
only the president का सी लोन्स की लाइक दैट.
हां जी
करियो तो मतलब उन्होंने कहता सी फार्मर को सीधा ही जाके ब्रिटिशर ਨੂੰ पे करोगे उसमें
नहीं ये फोर इन्होंने मतलब कुछ दसिया सी.
अरे यार मैं क्वेश्चन सी मैं दिमाग बैठ गया.
हां जी
दोनों ही क्वेश्चन सी है.
पूछो.
नहीं मैं उसने होता था हाई स्पीड.
अच्छा आया सीगा ये तो मैं जी समझा के हटी है. चंगी तरह कर लो, यूपीएससी से आਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ.
दो क्वेश्चन सीखे लैंड कर
2019 ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਲਿਮਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਪੇਜ ਤੇ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕੰਸੀਡਰ ਦ ਫॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स अबाउट ਜ਼ਮੀਂਦਾਰੀ ਐਂਡ ਜਾਗੀਰਦਾਰੀ सिस्टम. Now transparency, let's go to the word transparent. Spelling ठीक है?
Yes ma'am.
All of you understand the difference between two?
Yes.
Rishabh? Now when things are transparent, can you see more clearly what is happening? This is there. Can you see more clearly from this window or this window? Certainly from the lower one.
Yes.
So now transparency. When we talk about transparency, transparency means that whatever decisions are being taken, they are not taken in secret, number one. Number two, they are discussed with each and every person. And number three, they are made public. You know why transparency is important? To gain public trust. Not only trust, public trust. ये जो कुछ मैंने वर्ड्स लिखवाए हैं ना, अथॉरिटी, मीडिएशन, पब्लिक, पब्लिक के बाद पॉलिसी आएगी, ट्रस्ट आएगी, इंस्टीट्यूशंस आएंगे, ये चीजें तो आपके टिप्स में होनी चाहिए और आपको फुली क्लियर होनी चाहिए. पब्लिक ट्रस्ट, सिर्फ ट्रस्ट से कुछ नहीं बनेगा. डू यू ट्रस्ट योर गर्लफ्रेंड? नो. But here you have to develop trust with the citizens. Confidence. That whatever my district commissioner is doing for my district is right. This is the level of confidence that we should have. But is it so? Barring few districts we hear stories of number of IAS officers who are doing incredible job and gaining enough of public trust in their respective districts. There are a lot of IAS officers who are doing a commendable job. Go to the page called as Better India. Very important. इसको तो ना बस मैं क्या ही बताऊं. betterindia.com, whatever it is. Go to their section. इसको ऐसे के लिए लिखना है. Facts तो मैंने बताई थी सुबह में. ऐसे के लिए एग्जांपल्स, एथिक्स के लिए एग्जांपल्स, इंटरव्यू के लिए केस स्टडीज यहीं से मिलेंगे. बेटर इंडिया की साइट पे जाके आपने कुछ स्टोरीज पढ़नी है ऑफ सिविल सर्विस. रिसेंट वन आई रेड वाज ऑफ असर आमिर, the ex-husband of Tina Dali. Now he has been posted in Srinagar, Kashmir. Srinagar, na? Srinagar. That person has done a commendable job to clean that city. And you know the amount of tourism that has increased here. Not only these stories, it will inspire you. Because their system is such that you hear n number of corruption cases. You hear a lot of things that are happening between the politicians and the bureaucrats. They are fighting to next level. But still we have some people who stand their ground and do their work with honesty, with the integrity. And they are transparent. They are accountable. They are responsible. They are answerable for their actions and decisions and policies. ठीक है? मेरे टाइम पे जरूर देखियो जाके ये साइट. Okay, so I was talking about transparency. ठीक है? Transparency is basically, now you know, Right to Information Act. Graduates तो सारे होंगे. री-एवैल्यूएशन की फीस भी सबने भरी होगी. एक बात मैं तो फर्स्ट में शुरू 10 नंबर पड़ जाए. मतलब ऐसे कर दे. हॉबी थी मेरी. और स्कीम पाई होगी बस वही भर दे. नो कटे नहीं कर. बस लिखाई चीज मार खाया जाता है. सोनी है मैंने चलो नंबर बदे बनाने वास्ते लिखे हो. रिवाइजन करोगे ऐसे तो 1400 रुपए रहेगा.
खाली राइटिंग ही देख दो सही.
ये तो ही रहे मैं अपने एनुअल पेपर में लिखते हैं. So now Right to Information Act is a very powerful legislation. You know why it was enacted? Only to bring in more transparency in government's work. You are in the government. Let's say you will go and your students भी हल करते हैं, that will be more clear to you. You prepared for your whole semester diligently. You gave your paper of quality. You were very sure that you will not score anything less than 80, but your marks are 51. What will you do? The result has been disclosed to you. You cannot do anything. ये स्कूल तो है नहीं कि टीचर के पास पेरेंट्स टीचर मीटिंग चल रही है, टीचर के पास खड़े मैंने गलत कर दिया बच्चे ने नंबर गलत कैलकुलेशन की है. यहाँ पर नहीं होता वो. यहाँ पर क्या होती है रीइवैल्यूएशन, जिसकी आपको क्या भरनी पड़ती है फीस. और ये जानबूझ के करवाते हैं. जो लायक बच्चे होते हैं ना उनके आप मार्क्स को बहुत काटते हैं ताकि उनके पास क्या है ये. This is a very sad reality of our university also. Okay, because no one will compromise on its result यार, because इसी result के basis पे आपको next में admission मिलेगी. If you really want to pursue higher studies and go into this field, academics field, ठीक है, तो ये evaluation करा रहे हो आप. तो इससे ज़्यादा अच्छा medium क्या है? पेपर की दिया आपने, 80 marks expected थे, 51 आए. सबसे पहले जाके पेपर की आरटीआई निकलवाई, पता चला कि यार पेपर का यार एग्जामिनर ने तो ये आंसर मेरा एक पूरा ही चेक नहीं किया 20 मार्क्स का. फिर जाके इवैल्यूएशन भरो. Isn't it a more fair and a transparent process?
Yes, sir.
In which you can also ask for compensation because this is the negligence on the part of teacher and not on you. That is why we need transparency. This act is mind-blowing.
Yes.
This act is also misused. This act also prohibits Section 8 पढ़ना इसका जाके. जितने इसके अंदर सब हेडिंग्स हैं, उसकी आप कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं चुरा सकते. प्राइम मिनिस्टर की कभी आपको प्रॉपर्टी नहीं पता चलेगी कितनी है.
मतलब 3 सेक्शंस पे ज्यादा कर रहे हैं, बहुत ज्यादा.
हाँ, I am talking about this only. You know, the civil society is fighting that this section should be repealed. हाँ.
आरटीआई तो 10 दिन होती है, आरटीआई वाली रात में
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Clear, transparency is clear to you. Also, एक और चीज देखो. When we talk about एक word है, तो उसे वो word कितने भी use कर सकते हो. Governance कर दो, public policies कर दो, politics कर दो, SH कर दो. Single window clearance, best word है, favorite है मेरा. Single window clearance. You know what is meant by single window clearance? तो सारे जाने सेवा केंद्र तक गए होंगे एक बार. सेवा केंद्र. Now सेवा केंद्र is doing its work on paper or it has been digitalized. Digitalized. You go to make your get your license made, or let's say any of your certificate. I recently get my residence proof made. कुछ नहीं करना. You have to simply go there. फोटो खिंचवा के वापस आ जाना. प्यार पे देने वाले. This has reduced corruption to next level. Single window clearance. Digitalization of government records. Because now on their heads lurk a danda. Everything is digital. If anyone will find out that I have done this, my job is at stake right now.
ट्रांसपेरेंसी बहुत डिजिटल हो गई.
हाँ, ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, पूरी ट्रांसपेरेंसी है.
नए काम में मतलब छेती हो जाता है कि ज्यादा प्रमोट नहीं करना.
बिल्कुल. Single window clearance is this only now. Single window clearance. Sit down. When you have to, if you are aware of it, that if you have to start a business, you have to get 63 licenses needed. 63. तीन जनरेशन बनाओगे मिलके. Why so many licenses? Why? I have to simply start my business. Make in India. Zero license. What is this? Transparency. Transparency. Single window clearance. When you will be more of this, trust me, you will have a lot of clarity in life and you will be more transparent. Always, have one aim in life. Clarity. And everything else will follow. Most of us do not have clarity in our lives. We are always stuck between two options because we have it. Each one of us knows our capability. In this exam, it is very important that you trust yourself. I come from a very humble background. I used to reside in a village. My schooling has been done from a school that was very near to my village. I was fortunate enough to go by bus. Most of my schoolmates used to come on cycles. The kind of neighborhood that I had was of this mindset that your daughter is academically very good. You should let her do engineering and not arts. I have done my graduation with honors in public administration from MCM PAV College. In my plus 1 and plus 2, I had non-medical. I got 92%. Everyone of this was of this opinion that let her do engineering and not arts. Do you think our society values arts? No. And do you think the kind of scenario that I am talking about, would they have ever let me come to Chandigarh to do arts? The motivation was this thing only. Confidence. I had confidence in my ability. Sooner or later, not even, let's say not even in this profession, after all my failed attempts, I will become something. Because I trusted my capabilities that I can do anything on my own. I would have rather started a business if I wanted something else in life. But I was very clear, I never had any other second option. I have failed in 2 prelims attempts consecutively. And the relatives put pressure on my father to such an extent that your daughter will never clear this exam. इसका तो pre भी एक बार नहीं हुआ है. The very first time I could not clear prelims, I was very sure it was just under peer pressure that I gave the exam. Many of us do. हमारी तैयारी नहीं होती पर ये सोचा होता है कि यार एक साल कोचिंग तो लिया, पेपर तो देके देख लेते हैं, फन करने जाते हैं. ये कौन सा कोई वो है? Never give this exam if you are not prepared. A lesson for you since you are beginner. If your preparation stands at 200% level, only then go and sit in the exam. Because in the moment you will go and give the exam, but after effects of that are too haunting. Your self-confidence will come to negative. You will think of yourself to be a redundant body. Clarity of thought. Clarity is very important in life. And everything else will follow. This is what I say to everyone. You have to trust yourself when you are sitting here. And with practice, anything in this life can be achieved. There was a person, I am forgetting, if any of you you follow athletics, a record was made by a person of running a mile in a minute. Back in 1900 sometime. Before that person made running a mile in a minute. Not in a minute, I would say. Mile in a minute was made later. Let's say mile in some minutes. Before that person set that record, it was considered as impossible. That कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि हम एक माइल इतने मिनट में भाग सकते हैं. Now after this person set a record, other people followed his lead. And later on, one person, I am forgetting, he's a very famous athlete.
From London.
Huh?
From London.
I don't know. I have to go and check. चेते नहीं आ रहा है. इसका दिमाग भी काम ही नहीं कर रहा है इस टाइम पे ना. है? चाय नहीं है, कॉफी है. Then that person set a record of running a mile in a minute by following his lead only. Have you read the story of Tina Darby? She is the youngest person. She was of 21 years age only, who could clear her for this exam in first attempt, and number 2 rank 1 in first attempt. Some people have very good placements of their astrological charts, but she has obviously been hardworking also. Rank 1 is not a good luck game only. It's utter hard work. Now when she cleared this exam, God knows how many aspirants got the motivation that if she can do it, I can do it too. I was inspired by her only. And previously I was inspired by Ira Singhal. Why? Because they were very clear in their minds. Ira Singhal, she fought for her selection. She was a specially abled person who, before she fought her case, no person could be made an IAS who is having disability. She was always allotted IRS. That was her 5th or 6th attempt, I guess. 5th attempt. Then she thought कि ये तो नहीं चलेगा. She went to Supreme Court. That because of my disability, they are doubting my capabilities. So what if I am physically disabled? I can still be an administrative officer. And that is when the whole regulation changed and the disabled person could now be introduced into administrative services. Clarity. Any of you could have settled here also. Even I could have settled here also. These are greater things. You have to put in hard work. This is very initial days. Initial days, if you will put hard work, I will guarantee you within 2 years you will crack at least one exam, पूरा process. Pre-main interview. 2 years की गेम है बस ये. 1 साल की कोचिंग, 1 साल की सेल्फ स्टडी. मतलब जिस साल का क्लियर होना है वो साल. नो ऐसा नहीं कि 2 साल के बाद वेट कर देना है. नो, that will be too late. गारंटी है ये, पर कायदे से चलना हमेशा. ट्रांसपेरेंसी की डेफिनेशन लिख ली. Transparency means decisions are taken by following rules and regulations. By following rules and regulations. By following rules and regulations, comma, information is freely available to all. Information is freely available to all. It is accessible, understandable. What? Yes. It is accessible, understandable, direct. Full stop. An example is example Right to Information Act, RTI Act, has acted as a powerful instrument. In the hands of people. To ensure transparency. In decision making process. Of executive. फिर एक ही बार मैं देख के नहीं लगाऊंगी ना, पता नहीं क्या है.
Transparency in decision making
Process of it. We are done with fact at least, है ना? ESD. Now we will do leaf.
What was the last word? Decision making process.
एक मिनट. Decision making process of executive. ऑनलाइन समझ आ रहा है? तुषार, ऋतिका, मनप्रीत, हरसिमरत.
Yes,
ma'am.
Not as boring as history. You know, all of people that I have taught now, they say this thing only, but you know, I teach history with much more enthusiasm and interest than I teach public administration. Now write responsive, not responsible.
मतलब ये कौन डिसाइड करू पॉलिटिकल जुडिशियरी डिसाइड करू जिवें मतलब पीपल प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं मतलब कुछ उन्होंने होगा कि ये अपने या फेवर च नहीं है कि मतलब इनको कौन जुडिशियरी डिसाइड करू
नहीं देखो जुडिशियरी तो ऑलरेडी कह देता है ना, दिस इज अ फेयर प्रोसेस. ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ देखो एक ना we have division of power in India. Judiciary does its work, executive does its works, and legislature does its work. There is a line that has been drawn. Now this very process has been enacted fairly, barring one mistake, that is it was not discussed. It was, yes, first it was made as an ordinance, Then without any discussion on it, it was passed in haste. Not, even recommended to a parliamentary committee. Now this is what has happened. But the process in which it has been enacted is legal. Farmers are saying repeal it. Not even they are taking into consideration जो मोदी जी ने बोला था कि 1.5 साल के लिए इसको मैं भी बंद कर देता हूँ, अभी नहीं enact करता. No, they are saying repeal it. Repeal means end. But the government is adamant enough. See, if we are seeing now, when you are into this career, you have to see the picture of both sides. No doubt, farmers are protesting. Their protest is commendable, right? It is also one of the world's largest protests. But we have to see that they are also very reluctant for new changes to be made. Other than contract farming, the very first act, that is Farm Produce and Traders Bill, which allows to trade interstate, it is nice act. There is no doubt in that. उसमें कुछ भी नहीं, उसमें तो सब इसका प्रॉफिट होगा. पहले ये रोते थे कि यार आड़ती है बहुत है, वो middlemen, they are looting us. Now they are, this guy in the song has said आड़ती है दरोल मुकाता. What are you fighting for then? In previous days, before the farm bills were there, you were saying आड़ती है सानू बहुत तंग कर रहे ने. But now they are your godfathers. It is a deadlock on both parts.
Remember अपन खुद के बारे में ये मतलब डिसीजन नहीं है जो बिल आया है.
No, it is in good governance. I told you na, you have to be pro govern. No. Clarity. Pro governance. Because what is the motive of the bill? Farmers' welfare. Motive तो उसका यही है ना, aim. If you read some original policy document na, the very first heading is aim, then objectives, then provisions, then there is discussion, then data, table, chart. It is a legislation of 200 to 300 pages. तुमको तो बढ़िया कंपाइल करके दे देते हैं. Vision, IAS, farm, law, bill, summary. ठीक है? The aim is this only, farmers' welfare. Objectives are also oriented into farmers' welfare. But the provisions are the original provisions, the original provisions that were there. Now, when we talk about contract farming, let's discuss it a little. Contract farming. The original bill, before it was made an act, it said this is a contract. It is called as model contract. इसमें फार्मर का नाम आएगा, बिजनेस का नाम आएगा, कितने साल के लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करना है वो आएगा, किस प्रोड्यूस के लिए कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करना है वो आएगा, कब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट खत्म हो जाएगा वो आएगा. इट वाज अ मॉडल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. ओरिजिनल पॉलिसी मेकर्स, आप जैसे ब्यूरोक्रेट्स ने क्या बोला कि मॉडल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होना चाहिए. गवर्नमेंट ने हटा दिया, ये प्रोविजन ही हटा दी पूरी. कुछ भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाओ. अब आप कुछ भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाओगे, do you think farmers have enough legal backing that they have, number one, understand, and number two, if any malice is done, then they can fight a case? No. This is why farmers are fighting for it. MSP was never legal. The government will never make MSP legal. MSP has done more harm than it has done good. Monocropping. Monocropping is destroying our agriculture.
But the government ने तो 23 crop पे मतलब करते हैं.
The number one, production ही नहीं हुंदी ना crops दी. Number two, procure नहीं हुंदियां. Number 3, if even they are procured, the private mandis de vich the zyada price hai as compared to the government procurement, right? Because how many of you eat millets yaar? You tell me. Do you even bother to eat millets? No. This is the demand of nowadays, at least elite section. That is why they are procured by private money. Kellogg's, muesli, oats, multigrain bread.
facilities नहीं है क्या मतलब ये पर
We do not have cold chain infrastructure. If we do not have, how will we ensure that if Jammu Kashmir के apples are traveling to Kerala in their very state that were जो इनकी यहाँ पर state थी, जो इनकी freshness, taste यहाँ पर था, इस दिन था, वो यहीं पर 8 दिन बाद होगा. Can you ensure it without you have cold storage? No. That is why farmers are protesting. First of all, bring in infrastructure, diversify your economy, diversify your agriculture, incentivizes the farmers. Make agriculture sustainable rather than making it profitable first. Then once the sustainability comes in, then profit is there to happen. Okay, clear? There is a lecture on YouTube by Divya Kirti sir on free farm ways. It is a lecture of 2 to 2.5 hours, but it will clear even the small letter ABC of the acts. Do read it. Right? What we were doing?
responsive
Responsive. Responsive means day before yesterday you said that ma'am you teach a little fast. I was responsive enough to teach you slow and steady and at your pace. Which means you complained to me something, or you reported, I will not use complain words. You reported me something. I fixed it. There is always, this is a service. This is delivered to this service, this person. I am a teacher. You are a student. I am delivering you something. You are also giving me what? Feedback. Sometimes you will also address me your complaints. Now it is my duty. I should be responsive enough to redress those complaints. This circle is the definition of responsiveness, not responsibility. Responsive means there is a feedback mechanism that has to be there. If any complaint is there, any issue is there, how fastly, how quickly you resolve that matter is known as responsiveness. Clear? Write down the definition. Responsiveness means how quickly and diligently means with honesty, and how diligently you respond to citizens' grievances. हरसिमरत ऋतिका मनप्रीत ने तो कैमरा ही बंद कर लिया आपका. आज गल्लां ही चली जांदियां ना. respond to citizens' grievances in a reasonable time frame. In a reasonable time frame. Key components of responsive governance are. Key components of responsive governance are redressal of what? Redressal of what? Citizen grievance. Redressal of citizen grievances, comma, citizen friendliness, timely delivery of services, and citizen orientation. Components clear? 4 components: redressal, friendliness, orientation, and timely delivery of services. Timely delivery लिखाती मैं क्या लिखाया?
Timely delivery of services.
Timely delivery लिखा था, delivery नहीं लिखा थी. Timely resolution of grievances. Timely resolution of grievances. Timely service delivery भी सही word है, but it is more oriented in, मतलब more important in economy, not in public administration. We also talk about targeted public service delivery. Targeted public service delivery. Any concept है. Targeted means only for those who should be the beneficiaries.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hanji.
Ma'am, please will you repeat the key components?
Key components: number 1, redressal of citizen grievances. Timely resolution of citizen grievances. Citizen friendliness. And citizen orientation. Why orientation? For what purpose? ताकि तुम लोगों को कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आए तुम डायरेक्टली मुझे बता सको बिना झिझके. ओरिएंटेशन मींस आपकी भी ओरिएंटेशन हुई होगी क्लास बिगिन होने से पहले कि क्या क्या कैसे करना है. अगर आपको कोई भी सर्विस नहीं अच्छी लगती तो आपको संपर्क या सेवा केंद्र में जाके ऐसे कंप्लेंट करनी है. दैट इज नोन एज ओरिएंटेशन. इसके लेक्चर्स भी कंडक्ट करते हैं आईएएस ऑफिसर. फैक्ट बी आरई. नेक्स्ट लिखो फॉलोज रूल ऑफ लॉ, बिकॉज जो डबल ही है ना वो बहुत एक्सप्लेन करने वाली कॉन्सेप्ट्स है हर टाइम.
मतलब फीडबैक की मतलब क्राइटेरिया रिस्पांसिवनेस एंड रिस्पांसिबिलिटी. मतलब अकेला मतलब फीडबैक की मतलब मनाली रिस्पांसिवनेस एंड रिस्पांसिबिलिटी पर तो थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करो जितना तो की वाला डिफरेंस है.
देखो रिस्पांसिबिलिटी की है. आई एम रिस्पांसिबल हियर टू टीच यू, बट रिस्पांसिव की है that even if you have some problem in my teachings, number 1 you can come to me and complain, and number 2 I am addressing also.
Okay.
Simply responsibility will not reach to this level.
Okay.
To reach this level you have to be responsive.
Okay.
You don't you know the difference between react and respond? Whenever you are conversing with someone, what should you do? React or respond? Respond. बस हो गया.